Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's Final Third Friday.
Welcome back to Final Third Friday. I'm Rob.
And I'm Isaiah.
And today we're going to be pairing the new cigar from Blackbird, the Glitch. This is a Mexican San Andreas Oscuro wrapper, Dominican binder with Dominican and USA fillers.
We're pairing that today with Barrel Dovetail. It's a whiskey finished in rum, port, and Dunn Vineyards Cabernet barrels. It is coming to us at 124.7 proof.
Heck yeah.
And this is just all of those beautiful red fruit notes. Quite a bit of vanilla from those from that rum finish in here, but you know, it's hard to complain about this one.
It's good.
This is just an all-around fantastic whiskey.
Well, we're just talking about it. You know, there's so many great barrel releases that I think people forget about. You were saying this too. Yeah. Forget about Dovetail, how good it is. And this was kind of one of their original flagships that really put them on the map.
This came out the same time as like Seagrass and Armida. And honestly, this is just as good as Seagrass is to me. It's just more of the bourbon palate rather than a rye palate.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I went ahead and went with the V on this.
I did too.
Glitch,
and it held up perfectly. So, and so this is a brand new cigar from Blackbird. Jonas sent me the information on this, and I had no idea that the price point on these things is so low. You're talking $7 range.
In our store, $7 range?
So this, I think MSRP on this is just under $7. We're at $7.50 with our taxes. Not too many people are putting out, which we will be talking about that, putting out cigars in that low price range.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone decides they're, hey, we had a big boom. Let's go ahead and put out stupid prices on cigars, which we've got a lot to talk about on that today.
We do. Oh, man. I can't believe this is in the $7 range.
I know. Definitely got that barnyard cocoa going. Yeah.
There's also that sort of fig sweetness on here and a little bit of spice on the palate.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Did you already talk about the blend?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Yep.
Mexican San Andreas goodness on this one, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to go ahead and light up. I can't believe. Okay, Blackbird has always been on the lower end of the price range. Like, they really take care of their customers in that way. But,
well,
man, in that $7 range.
That's perfect. Well, and they also came out with a Claro as well. There's a Claro, Habano, and the Oscuro. This is the Oscuro. I've got the Claro and the Oscuro here. I smoked a Claro the other day, and it's a really, really nice morning cigar.
Okay.
Very good flavor.
So these are competing in the same line as like your Crown Heads Juarez.
Exactly.
Like, as far as price point goes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's cool to see because, there are some of the competing podcasts out there that constantly are talking about how, the boom is over, be ready. And I'm like, I don't see the boom being over. I see the boom leveling out. I think people that have jumped into the cigar world have actually decided this is something they want.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep doing it now. Are they going to spend as much money every week? Maybe not. It just depends on the economy and how their jobs are going. But I don't feel like it's going anywhere anytime soon. But to have these lower price point cigars come out is nice. It really levels off because most cigars come out now are in that, $14 to $18 range, and others a lot more. So,
okay, this is a really pretty weird flavor note, but I'll give it anyway. It's like chocolate covered bacon for me, or that's what it reminds me of. Like
very savory, yeah.
Yeah, it's savory.
Yeah, it's got that kind of almost meaty kind of feel to it.
Yeah. This reminds me of the State Fair chocolate covered bacon. You ever had that?
I haven't, but it sounds delicious.
It is good. Think about candied bacon dunked in chocolate.
I'll probably be thinking about that the rest of the day now. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're in the first 5 minutes and already talking about food.
I know.
Take a drink.
It is what it
You out
is.
there in the
Yeah, let's get into this dovetail.
There's hardly any pepper on the retro hail on this.
Not
for me.
yet. Not
Yeah.
yet. I feel like it does pick up a little bit. But I usually don't expect a whole lot of pepper with mostly Dominican and then the San Andreas. But,
Oh my goodness.
man, it's got such a fruity nose on it.
Yeah, it brought out a lot of the rum notes and a lot of the baking spice in the
It
dovetail.
really does that. So it's a Mizurana. Is that one of the barrels that they use in this? Or what is that one they use?
This is rum, port, and Cabernet.
Cabernet. Okay. Okay.
You're thinking of the Vantage, which
Vantage,
is in
that's it.
Mizunara oak.
This one here, I mean, it definitely has the nose of some of the wines, like maybe that's that Chardonnay I'm feeling or something in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, you said Cabernet.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Man, that's weird.
So on the pour, you're getting like a baking spice heavy sort of rum centric thing. And then you go back to the cigar and it brings in kind of some of that vanilla extract quality that you get from a rum finished. Yeah,
It definitely leans to that rum a lot.
it does.
Even on the tongue, you're getting that. Maybe not. I'm not getting the extract part, but I am getting vanilla. Not a
Yeah.
super sweet vanilla, but a vanilla.
Yeah,
That's pretty tasty.
it is really tasty.
So we kind of alluded to the stupidity of cigar prices, and so it was funny because we do some. We're trying to do a few show notes to kind of bring some topics up, and Isaiah put one in, and I actually put one in. I realized it was the same one.
Yeah. So Oliva, and this article came out on June 14th.
Which-
so we're a little bit behind on
Back
this.
it up with Oliva. Oliva really hit the market as a good budget blend.
Yeah.
They had a lot of like the O and the G, and some of those were a nice price point cigar. And then they introduced the Melanio, which was in that $15, $16, $18 range on the bigger, the Salomon or whatever. That was their highest point they had. So tell us, Isaiah, what they decided to do this year.
So Oliva launched a Series V Roaring 20s super limited edition cigar.
Super limited.
And would you like to tell the audience what the price point is on this one?
$300.
$300.
And that's MSRP. That's not including taxes for whatever state you're
this
in.
is a 6x60 double perfecto.
Oh, yeah, by the way, it's a 6x60.
okay.
Again, 6x60 smokers are usually doing it because of the perceived value of more tobacco.
So this is crazy. It's like Half Wheel knows that they're just pricing it at that. Shout out to Half Wheel for this.
They got it.
It says, like the rest of the Series V line, it will use an Ecuadorian wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and filler. Beyond the price, the cigar sets itself apart from the rest of the Series V line in its packaging.
Oh, nice. Is it a gold box? No, it's probably not.
No.
Oh, but it has gold foil around the
It does.
cigar.
It
Nice.
does have gold foil around the cigar.
Nice.
You know what cigar does have gold foil on it that you can get for under $300? The Cavalier cigars.
yeah, Cavalier.
Genevieve. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
Cavalier Genevieve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're looking to smoke some gold foil, go ahead and grab that one. It's not as big or as pretty or as expensive.
Well, the Cavalier also that has that little gold triangle, or
Yeah.
I guess it's not a triangle; it's a diamond.
It's a diamond.
And you can smoke right through it. It's
Yeah.
actually food grade gold they put on.
That's
the
what
band.
they're expecting you to do with this too.
No,
Except they
that is not.
Look at that. That's stuck to the end. You know that's stuck to the end.
Oh my gosh, it's like a big turd. Okay, you know, I'm sure someone's gonna buy it. If you smoke one, tell us what you think of it. I am not spending $300, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not bringing that cigar in here because with our taxes,
No.
you're talking $350 for a cigar.
So
I don't honestly. I don't want to do that to anybody.
And the problem is it's more of a collectible piece than it is an actual cigar that they're expecting people to smoke.
Yeah, okay. A box of 10, $3,000.
You laugh at
sorry.
this, but
I'm sorry.
freaking Davidoff will do that stuff and nobody questions it.
Yeah, but Davidoff doesn't even do $300 cigars.
This is true.
I mean, their biggest. I mean, I think they've got $110 cigars, but
Yeah.
it's insane.
Okay.
That was one of them.
So here's another story I'd like to tell you.
Tell it.
About the Deadwood line, which is
I saw you put that on there, but I purposely didn't read it because I wanted you to tell me about it.
So Deadwood Cigar Co. was originally just a shop, and they had Drew Estate making flavored cigars for them that were basically what they wanted.
Right.
Eventually, the brand grew to a point where Drew Estate
Bought it.
they didn't buy it, but they're leasing the name or something like that.
I thought they bought the brand. I didn't realize they were just leasing the name.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a basically they signed an agreement that gave Drew Estate, the Deadwood Cigar Co. name, and exclusive rights to that name right now.
Okay.
And there is an end date on that, but they're not within that end date.
Okay.
So our buddy Christian Aroa
Oh no.
got in this mess because they decided Asylum and Drew the Deadwood Tobacco Company decided to make they called it a steeped cigar. Nobody told me, like, I couldn't find what it was steeped with, what the flavor was. Flavored Bovita packs. No, I'm just kidding. But and they started putting it out under the Deadwood Tobacco Company name, and it was called the Midnight Oil. That ended up being a mess for them because they weren't allowed to do that. So now they lost the lawsuit, and now the Midnight Oil is an Asylum 13 brand, and no longer a Deadwood Tobacco Company brand.
Interesting.
The hard part is Rob, that would be the equivalent of us signing basically distribution with someone like, let's say Aladino, saying, "Oh, this is the final third cigar line." Grows to be such a giant brand, like, I'm sure they're getting royalties off of it. They have to be getting royalties off of that.
They should be.
And then
It's
we're
their
like,
name.
hey, we'd like to do something else just for our shop. Okay. Well, that was cool when they did that, but as soon as it got national distribution, Drew Estate shut them down. And it's like, at the end of the day, the agreement they signed made it so that they can't really work with anyone else.
Interesting.
So it's no longer,
I mean, honestly,
they signed away their rights.
It's kind of an easy thing, though, I would think. Just change the Deadwood line and just create a new line under Drew Estate and do the same thing. Drew Estate's the one that created that infusion process that they hold near and dear to their hearts, that don't tell anybody how they do it. So why would it matter if just change the name? Live Wood. Oh wait, no, that would be our table maker. Deadwood Live Wood.
Deadwood Live Wood. Okay. But it's just a tough thing because they no longer have the rights to their name. And it was because of the previous owner of Deadwood Tobacco Company. They're under new ownership now. So it's just I don't know, kind of a sticky situation.
New owner of Deadwood Tobacco. So the
store.
The original,
The store.
So basically, the old boy said, these guys signed over something they should have never signed over because it was amazing, and he's fighting to try to get it back.
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know. I'm not willing to go that far.
I will say Deadwood is probably, it has to be their number one selling line.
It's got to be.
Other than
That
maybe
and
the acids.
Yeah.
Only reason acids might be above it's because they sell it at every gas station. Other than that, the Deadwood lines are the best seller they have.
You got to imagine.
Crazy.
Okay.
All right, next up.
On whiskey news this week.
Whiskey news.
Heaven Hill Distillery is launching Square 6 wheated bourbon.
Yeah.
So it is a 105 proof bourbon that is coming out of the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience. So it's actually being distilled on that still.
Okay.
And now it's going to be released there, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Because before that, There was a couple limited offerings you could get, like the Evan Williams 12 and stuff like that. But this is a product that was actually made there, or at least it's what the bottle says.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, I just got a magazine in the mail. It's called Market Watch, and I get it here every month. It's just a great thing talking about what's going on in the spirits industry. And they have a great article on Heaven Hill in here, and I've been reading through it, and I had no idea that Heaven Hill has so many spirits.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a spirit from every line of every category of spirits out there. They have a spirit. I mean, they've got Deep Eddy's vodka, which I didn't know they own. They have all these different, tequilas and all this stuff. I'm like, I had no idea. And they're, when we were down there doing the pick, and they had the new building being built and everything done. Well, they're building the distillery there, where they're going to start distilling there as well at that same property we were on. So I'm like, that's cool. So they're really ramping up. That gives them, probably 8 different distilleries that they have from the different ones, like because Deep Eddy has their own, the tequila has their own. So they have all these distilleries they can use now. I mean, they're gearing up to be the big dog.
Well, I mean, I think that they already are. Like last year, they acquired a portfolio that had Widow Jane in it, and also some tequila companies. Mm-hmm. And the funny part about that was Widow Jane was primarily sourced Heaven Hill juice. So it's the equivalent of Penelope just getting bought back by MGP.
Right.
But that also freed up Lisa Wicker, who was behind that, to go do more consulting. But it was absolutely, I mean, it's just cool. There are people behind there that are kind of monopolizing in the spirits industry across the board.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because Heaven Hill's top 10 brands in the U.S. right now, Evan Williams is their number one, which makes sense. And then they go down the list, and they've got vodka, Canadian whiskey, brandy, tequila,
Who's
rum.
their Canadian whiskey?
Black Velvet. They just acquired that.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
That's huge.
Rum, liqueur. And then number 9 is Elijah Craig. And then they go to another liqueur, Hypnotic. I'm like, so really 2 of their main, Evan Williams and Elijah Craig, are the only 2 that are in that top 10.
Yeah.
And number 9, I would expect Elijah Craig to be bigger than that.
I would,
but that means these other ones are selling like crazy all over the world.
I mean, you got to think Evan Williams for the price point is a great buy, and just across the board, Evan Williams is typically the king of the bottom shelf.
Right.
It just is. They're priced at the point where I don't know how much they're making off of it per bottle, but I think they're expecting bulk sales to make the money rather than bottle for bottle.
I'm going to tell you, I found another bottom shelfer that I fell in love with this week.
What's that?
I was up at and I'll shout them out, Copper Still, might as well drink. Copper Still, almost a party foul.
Almost.
They're up in Roanoke, Indiana. It's a cool little whiskey bar that has amazing like boards where they do like charcuterie boards and different kinds of foods. Really cool spot. But I saw up there, I'm like, they had some special stuff, but I had most of it. But they had a Benchmark Foolproof.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never even cared about Benchmark. It's always sounded
You've
like
had
pretty
that
bad.
before.
I've never had Benchmark Foolproof.
Yes.
I don't remember it if I did.
That's what
I
I brought with you that one time Isaiah was here.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, it was good.
It's the same mash bill as Stag Jr. It's 125 proof.
Okay, well, that makes sense why I like it
Yeah.
then. Okay.
It's just
I
like
forgot all about that.
It's
I
like
had that.
baby Stag Jr.
So I went to the liquor store right there in town, which actually was a decent little liquor store, Belmont.
Yeah.
And I bought a bottle of it at $15.
Yeah.
I'm like, $15
Amazing.
for Foolproof.
That's
that was
actually a good
amazing.
price on that bottle
Yeah.
too.
Is it?
Normally it's around 20, but
Okay.
even at that,
I think
it's
it might
still
have maybe $15.99, but it was in the $15 range.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's a great bottom shelfer.
It is a great bottom shelfer.
Also ended up picking up a bottle of the Dragon's Milk Cast Strength.
Did you?
Yes, I got a bottle of that. It was a barrel pick that they did at Belmont.
Oh, sweet.
And I don't have it in here. I'll bring it back in for you to
Beverage
try.
and Chalet. Is that what it
Well,
is?
they apparently there's like 7 or 8 of them around the Fort Wayne area, and Roanoke's just outside of Fort Wayne.
Gotcha.
So, but that's the first cast strength dragon's milk product I've seen yet.
Yeah.
And it's the first sip, you're like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Not sure if I like it or not. By the
Yeah.
time you get to the third sip, you're like, this is freaking delicious.
Oh yeah. Oh
All
yeah.
the dragon's milk notes in it. It's great.
Well, speaking of drinking,
Oh, really? Are we speaking of drinking?
the studies, and by the studies I mean a recent Yale research
You mean
study.
basically some dude on the internet said,
No.
okay.
Yale found that having one drink a day may lower the risk of suffering a stress-related heart attack. One glass a day for women, or up to 2 for men.
So that tells me if I'm doing 10 a day, I've got 5 times the chance of being amazing.
Of being amazing.
Yes. Just great health. Heart's going to be perfect. Never a problem in the world. I mean, that's the way I look at it is if 2's good, 4's got to be great.
So-
8's got to be even better.
Here's the hard part about that.
What's that?
The study also found that more than 14 drinks a week increases the risk of heart attacks, as well as diminishing cognitive ability. While any amount of alcohol increases the risk of cancer.
Blah, 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 blah. Walking outside and breathing the air increases your risk of cancer.
Yeah.
Unless you live in a bubble, you're increased for cancer.
But here's really what that is saying is alcohol works as a stress reliever.
100%.
And-
Cigars do too.
Cigars do too, and it's and there is something to be said for that.
There really is. I mean, honestly, anything good in moderation is not bad for you. It's when you start. I mean, just like food. I mean, food's good for you until you eat so much that you're.
Food's necessary.
It's not, but it's like anything you do. If you do it in moderation, it's not. Well, I shouldn't say anything. There are things out there we shouldn't be doing, but moderation
tar
is the
heroin.
key. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah. In moderation.
In moderation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree, man. I mean, that's why I get people joking around with me all the time. There are days I have a lot of drinks, especially when I get a crew of friends in here. But most of the time, I'll have a pour and I'll sip on it kind of all day long.
Yeah.
And usually those are days that I'm like, yeah, I didn't have much to drink today, but I sat here and sipped on that for 12 hours.
Yeah.
But I do think that I agree, man. A bourbon and a cigar, sitting around hanging out with a buddy or hanging out by yourself, whatever. I think it just changes your perspective on life and just forces you to relax and be in the moment.
Well, and it really is being a stress reliever. Stress is the number one killer in the U.S. right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty
Sure it is too. Yeah.
The hard thing is so much of our culture just is so stress driven. Every single bit of it is. So you have to find ways to bring yourself rest and find some sort of healing from it. It's
You do.
So alcohol's a way to do that. It is a legitimate stress reliever, and just the ritual of having a cigar is the same way.
It really is.
But we're
that's
not
the only
saying
reason why I do it.
drink in excess. But what we
No.
are saying is these things can be useful tools for you.
They can. Doctor approved. Drink more bourbon. Smoke more cigars.
I don't know about more, but just drink some.
Just drink. Yeah. Speaking of high dollar cigars too, I did see that the Rocky Patel is also putting out a $100 cigar,
Oh, he is.
and I'm like, why are we doing this, guys? I mean, everyone. I shouldn't say everyone. There's literally one podcast I know of that keeps talking about how the boom is over. The boom is over. It's starting to go into a crash. Blah blah blah. I'm like, first of all, that's not happening, guys. Don't feel like that's happening. Second of all, even if it is starting to plateau off, why would you start increasing? I mean, like the typical Rocky cigar is going to be $10 to $20.
yeah.
All of a sudden, now you're throwing $100 one out there and expecting people to support that.
Well, I mean,
Makes no
the hard
sense to
part
me.
is in this economy, in today's economy, you're going to do that and expect them to sell. I guess really what it's doing is alienating some of your target audience.
Right.
Because there's no way, if you do too many of those, your brand's going to be seen as a That's like a Davidoff, where
Yeah.
like that's just for the elites, and people of my income class will just turn your nose up at it because it's like, well, the ones that I have had have not been worth their price point. So
No.
there's no gain from spending that on there.
Right.
There's no value for your money. It's literally just, I'm buying this. I'm choosing this brand just because I can afford it. And
Right.
F you. You
Right.
know?
And I could see that cigar being a good addition for him to throw into his burn locations. You know, because you're going to get the guy comes in there and says, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to get that $100 cigar. I'm going to get that pour a 25-year-old Macallan, and I'm going to have a great night. That'd be fine for that. I don't see that being because I mean Rocky sells everything online.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that's not one you're going to
Well,
buy
Seabit's
online.
going to have that cigar for $50. So
Unfortunately, you're probably right, unless they
Yeah.
don't release it to that. But I just don't get it. I mean, it does alienate it. I will say one thing: shops are going to have to make really hard decisions on buying this stuff.
Yeah.
Even some of the big shops I've talked to, they have no interest in bringing in that Oliva $300 cigar. I mean, you're talking about
Well,
three
it's super
grand,
limited edition.
super limited,
Super limited.
which tells me that they're going to force people that have their products to bring them in because they're not going to be able to sell them. And now you're going to be sitting on a $3,000 box in there that you might sell one every 3 months.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Makes no sense at all.
I just have trouble justifying like burning $300 in 2 hours.
Well, and also you look at how much all the American brands, and I say American brands that are sold in America,
Yeah.
have pushed so far against everything Cuba does.
Yeah.
And then Cuba comes out with their $300 Cohiba, and all of a sudden now look, Oliva's got a $300 cigar. I'm like, all these people were telling Cuba this is wrong how you're doing it. And yes, I get American cigars are better. First of all, the $300 Cohiba is probably a $25, $30 cigar should be.
Yeah.
So why would you not start there where it should be, not where they threw a stupid number out there?
Well, and the interesting thing is it is these more, I have trouble calling Rocky a full-blown heritage brand, but they are on that level. They're not a craft boutique,
but I wouldn't call him heritage only because he's not been in the industry as long.
yeah,
But he's definitely
in
not
that
a
same
boutique.
class as like an
He is.
Oliva.
Exactly.
And part of me feels like it's their way to get back at some of the boutiques that are taking over the market. You know,
I don't see that being a way to do it, though. Not going for a high dollar stick. I mean,
that changes somebody's perception when they get into cigars that like, oh, you're a completely uneducated smoker is going to walk into a humidor and say, that cigar's $300. It must be the best. This $12 Mil Diaz, it's probably going to be okay, if not a dog rocket.
yeah.
You know, and that's just from an educational standpoint. I mean, that Roaring 20s, admittedly, is the same freaking blend that they always use, just decorated differently and jacked up in price. That's going to shoot them in the foot unless there are serious Oliva collectors.
Yeah. Which there might be. And if it is super limited, what's super limited?
Yeah.
I mean, I called the super limited that Candela that Aladino put out because they only put out 300 boxes. That's super limited.
Yeah.
Are they talking that many? Are they talking 1,000? Are they talking 100? I mean, I don't know if they even said anything in the article about that. But
No, I didn't say price. It just said super limited.
well,
So
hopefully it's
it'll
super
probably
limited
be-
down to 3 boxes, and that's all they sold. So
I hope so. And the other problem is like you're
be the-
charging $300 a cigar, and it's not coming in a coffin. Like these are non-cellophane. They don't. Each cigar
It's into a
is
box.
individually packaged in its own little box. It just you're getting a cigar that has gold leaf around the foot end, and it's just
I don't know, man.
yeah.
I don't get it. It's definitely. I mean, and I can tell you right now, I can tell you probably 50 people that come in here that could easily walk in and afford that cigar and smoke it.
Yeah.
But they already know what we have here, and they're going to go and grab something that they know is better and smoke it, it's going to be a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
So just because people can afford it doesn't mean people are going to buy it. So
Well, that's true. That's true. They'll hopefully it hits just in time for the holidays, and they'll be able to sell them that way. Of just little old.
I hope
wife.
no one buys them. Period. I hope
It's
no
really
shop
hard-
owner buys them.
I mean, it's really hard to justify when
Yeah.
for the same price you could get probably both of the Quasar desk, the cutter and the lighter,
Pretty
that
close
will
to it.
last you longer than 2 hours.
Or you can get an entire box and a half of some other great cigar.
yeah,
I don't know. We beat that pretty hard.
it deserves
And
to be beaten.
by the way, the ash is doing the typical Blackbird thing, stacking like a sheet of ash.
Yeah.
There's no lines or anything.
I don't know how Blackbird does this with all of their cigars, but I thank them for it.
They're doing a good job.
It's a Blackbird build quality is crazy good. Let's take a moment to hear from our partners. Is your closet starting to feel a little weak? You know, like shoddy fabrics, misshaped, tired designs? Then 7 Strong brand has exactly what you need to reinforce your look. We're talking a 4-way stretch of polyester, cotton blend, silky smooth, breathable, and above all, true to fit while keeping its fit. No? But what about our hidden collar button with reinforced stretching? It's pretty strong. Or how about designs that'll get you a standing ovation no matter the occasion? Happy hours to baby showers, the flight to date night, even from the shore to stepping out to the store. 7 Strong brand has button-down shirts that will transition you from one place to the next and make you stand out every single time. And for listening to our show, new customers get $5 off their first purchase with code FINAL3rd. Not to mention, all orders over $50 qualify for free shipping. And you know, just like any label on a bottle or cigar, these shirts are going to be a stamp of quality every time you wear them. So find your strength and style by checking out 7-strong.com, as well as following 7 Strong brand on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our wonderful new table is brought to you by Deadwood Live. That's D-E-D Wood Live. Go check them out on Facebook and see what Derek can do for you. From bars to tabletops to a giant podcast table, they specialize in making super high quality furniture from live edge woods and reused barrels. So reach out to them on Facebook and see what they can do for you.
So yeah, like I said, we did get these 2 glitches in. They're in stock now. We did get a new crux in this week. It's the crux. I think it's finishing out the Epicure line, the Habano. Thing is delicious. It is smoking so well. And we're starting to see some other cigars coming in slowly. We've got the Espinosa 9 coming in here, hopefully in the next few days.
Yeah, we're at 9.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, the Warhead 9. So talk a little bit about your project you started here.
I this week decided to ask AI, which I asked if anyone's interested in the nerd. Google's own AI called Bard, B-A-R-D. So it's bard.google.com.
Okay.
And I asked it, write me some topics for my cigar and whiskey podcast. Okay. So here are, it gave us a great list, a lot of which we already do. But one of them was the history of cigars and whiskey. Next one, pairing cigars and whiskey.
Good idea.
Yeah, great idea. Cigar and whiskey reviews, and that's not really something that we do. If the cigar makes it on the show, and I guess if the cigar makes it in our humidor, it's a win.
Well, I've had a couple of people ask if we'd talk more about the cigars. We are a cigar lounge,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah. So cigar and whiskey reviews, interviews with cigar and whiskey experts. We've done a lot of cigar, not a lot of whiskey experts.
We'll be doing that here soon.
Yeah. Cigar and whiskey events, cigar and whiskey culture. I guess.
We do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cigar and whiskey humor. Can you log in on Bard and ask it to give you a cigar and whiskey joke?
Do you have to sign up?
Well, it's just through your
Try bar.
Google account. Yeah. So just click accept or agree, whatever it is. And
I agree, I guess, to whatever the hell they're telling me.
a whole lot of stuff. Basically, they're tracking its responses and the information you give it so it can continue to grow. Kind of creepy, but also kind of cool.
All right, so what am I entering in?
Tell
me some whiskey humor.
Yeah, tell me some whiskey humor. So a couple other topics it gave us was the different types of cigars and whiskey and their flavor profiles, how to store and age cigars and whiskey, which I think that could be something that we could get on, how to smoke and drink cigars and whiskey. I would love to smoke my whiskey and drink my cigar.
Sure.
The health risks associated with smoking cigars and drinking whiskey, which we just went over, and we found out that it's healthy for you in moderation.
So apparently whiskey humor means whiskey dad jokes. So
Okay.
why did the whiskey go to the doctor?
What's that about?
It was feeling a bit under the cork.
That's
pretty
terrible.
bad.
Yeah.
What do you call whiskey that's been sitting in the sun for a while? Old fashioned. That's really bad.
That's terrible.
What's the difference between a whiskey sour and a lawyer?
What's that?
One's sour and the other's a sour puss. All right.
Wow.
Why did the whiskey get fired from his job?
What's that?
He kept spilling the beans.
What does that have to do with beans?
Exactly. I don't think this AI understands whiskey.
It kept spilling the beans. I think it's making coffee jokes.
Oh, it's not good at all. This is terrible.
But basically, it talked about a couple of the other topics were the history of cigar and whiskey industries and what's coming in the future, which I think a lot of those would be great things to talk about. I do think how to store and age your cigars would be. I think we could do an entire episode on that. Maybe
we could do that.
We have Dr. J back on to talk about
4 hours of humidity. Nice. Because we're trying really hard to get Dr. J off of all the Facebook groups, and if we bring him in on this, he's going to jump right back in on every one of them.
We really do.
I did like that picture he sent out. He's like, "This is a picture I got from my whiskey group, or my cigar group." Which again, Dr. J, get out of these groups.
Get out of the groups.
It had it might have been a woman, but it sure looked like a guy with a cigar down his butt crack and his underwear holding it on. I'm like,
yes.
Why?
It was really rough.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Chat GPT for some cigar jokes.
Cigar jokes. There you go.
Bard is not as creative of an AI source.
Well, it's also based on Google.
Yeah.
And Google's kind of against liquor and cigars anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay. So ChatGPT already did better. So why did the cigar go to school?
Why?
It wanted to be a smart ash.
Smart ash. All right.
What do you call a bear that smokes cigars?
I don't know.
Winnie the Puff.
Winnie the Puff. There we go.
Why did the cigar take up knitting?
Dude, we need a T-shirt with Winnie the Pooh smoking cigars, Winnie the Puff on it.
That'd be pretty good.
That would be good. That sounds like a crowned head's hat.
It does. Why did the cigar take up knitting?
Why?
It wanted to make a smoking jacket.
Weak.
Yeah, pretty lame. Pretty lame. How do you know a cigar is lost?
How?
It's always asking for directions.
Asking for directions.
It's such a stretch, dude.
Yeah.
We're
going to have to do some research on some good jokes from AI.
Remember, these jokes are meant to be lighthearted and in good fun. Enjoy.
Well, okay then.
Yeah. I want to see if Chat GPT can come up with some
whiskey humor.
Yeah, whiskey humor.
There's got to be a lot of better whiskey jokes than cigar
What do you
jokes.
call a person who refuses to share their whiskey?
What?
Selfish spirits.
That's kind of dumb.
Yeah. Why did the whiskey go to therapy?
Why?
It had a hard time bottling up its emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of these are
That's
great.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
AI needs to stick to what they do well.
Why'd the whiskey join a gym?
Why?
It wanted to be neat and fit.
Neat and fit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know what? If you have whiskey jokes, dad jokes, or whatever, write them in. We would love to hear a lot better jokes than what we just told you.
And no, Dr. J, we don't want fireball jokes.
I'm still working on trying to find that barrel-aged fireball for you and I to have on the show, Rob. I haven't seen it yet. I've legitimately been looking for it.
Just wait till secondary. I mean, it's only going to be like $22 on secondary. You're fine.
I think its store price is $22.
No, it's $19.99. That's MSRP.
So,
So Total Wine will have it for $16.
yeah, they will. Yeah, they will.
Oh my God. Well, they weren't making that much of it either, so it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
who does get it.
I mean,
God, no, it's not going to be interesting. No one cares. Stop. Just stop.
legitimately, the people who buy it up will accidentally buy it just because they're looking for Fireball for their college parties.
Probably.
Like at that price point,
Because it's
too,
not much different than the price of regular
Yeah,
Fireball.
they're not going to question it at all. It'll just look like a collector's edition bottle.
And they're going to shoot it
Speaking
with
of
something
that,
else.
I for whatever reason, Facebook suggested to me some liquor store in Austin, Texas, that did like their allocation week for their anniversary. So basically, what the store does is hide allocated bottles throughout the store. So it basically encourages you.
Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg hunt.
Nice.
You know what one of the allocated bottles was?
What?
Fireball Collector's Edition. Like,
Allocated.
people walked away with like Midwinter Nights Dram and a 1792 12 year and bottles of that caliber. Like the lower end allocation class, I'd throw Stag Junior in there too. Like no
Yeah.
Pappies or anything like that.
Right.
But people, then there was just like a Fireball Collector's Edition. So you got a bunch of bourbon bros, and what they find is a Fireball Collector's Edition.
How would you even see that as being a special bottle if it was hidden somewhere?
I guess you just find it in the wine rack,
I mean,
and
the
you
only thing
walk up and be like, "Is this one of is this one of them?" You know,
that's weird.
it was really weird.
I don't know. Maybe they put a tag on them somewhere showing that was a special, or maybe you just have to find them.
It's pretty funny because
one thing
I
think-
saw an entire shelf full of those Fireball Collector's Editions at Meijer.
Did you?
Yeah,
Still sitting there, probably
still
to
sitting
this
there.
day?
Yeah, yesterday Meijer had the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, a whole shelf full, like not in price because they expect them to move pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I picked one up and I scanned the price just because I had said in my head, if it's under 40, I'm gonna buy it. It wasn't under 40.
No.
So
Heaven
I
Hill
didn't
Bottle
buy
and
it.
Bond, the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's MSRP on that 60, I think.
Yeah, it was 43.
43 is what you paid for it.
$43.99.
That's cheaper than I pay for it to buy it in the shop.
I understand. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
I
but
think.
I didn't.
No. That's. Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper than what I'm paying for. Yeah.
It always is at Meijer.
Meijer's
I didn't
crazy.
buy one though, just because I don't need any more bottles that'll just sit around.
I'm kicking myself in the butt. Last week we did the end of watch with Dirk up at Old 55,
Yeah.
and the one thing I didn't bid on that I went back and realized I didn't bid on it was a Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond 7-year and a 6-year.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it went for $70 for the two of them.
Dang.
I'm like, dang, I really want another one of those Heaven Hill 6-years.
Yeah.
And I can get all the Bottle and Bond 7-year I want, but I
Yeah.
really want another one of those. And I wish I would have bid on that one, but I didn't.
6-year was great.
Someone ended up getting it for $70. And I got a bottle of Booker's,
Did you?
the pigskin batch.
Okay.
I way overpaid for it, but it was a donation. That was the whole point. And I was basically just messing with another guy.
So talk about the event.
Yeah. No, it was great, man. So Dirk, he's Indiana Bourbon on Instagram and Facebook. So Dirk is a police officer out in Danville, and he started this organization called End of Watch, which basically he's raising money for fallen officers' families. If you are from our area, you probably remember Noah Chenevez and Sierra Burton. Thank you. Those are two young officers that died last year, and he's raised a lot of money for those two families. What this was for was actually raising the money before they need it.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully they never need it and never have to pay a family. Hopefully they never have another officer, but we live in the world where there will be another officer go down.
Yeah.
And that event raised over 20 grand.
Wow.
So that's covering 10 grand for two families coming up, and he's going to keep doing this to build that money so he can actually give back. And there was all kinds of great bottles on the auction. I mean, Will donated a bottle of Pappy 15 that ended up raising over 7 grand in tickets.
That's amazing.
And the guy that won it bought one ticket and won
That's
it.
super cool.
$10 ticket, and he got a bottle of Pappy 15.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
awesome.
They auctioned off a Glock 17.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff, and it was just a really good day.
Which that Glock was completely legal. There was, an FFA there.
Oh yeah,
everything.
I mean, it's a police officer organization. They're going to do it legally, but I didn't win it, which I was sad about. I really wanted to win that.
How much did that go for?
I don't know. I didn't hear how much that raised.
But
Pappy was the big dog.
You did win something. What'd you win, Rob?
I won. Actually, we won multiple things.
Oh, what did you win?
So Lisa went out on a bidding spree. You know, the only thing I bid on was that.
She's spending your money, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing I bid on was that Booker's, and I won that.
Yeah.
But she bid on this. It was a kid's gator. So like the John Deere gator. She won that. So grandkids are going to be playing around on that here soon. Oh my
goodness, that's awesome! I saw that, and it looks heavy duty.
It does. Yeah, I think it's going to be really nice, and it's going to last them for a while. I mean,
were you able to fit it in the back of the Gladiator?
Yeah, ish. Yeah, ish. It was strapped. It was in there. Yes, along with all the other stuff we took up there for sell. She won tickets to Conner Prairie, or not tickets, but a season pass to Conner Prairie and a whole bunch of added things from Conner Prairie. Cool. So that's going to one of our other grandkids.
Yeah.
And then she went out and bid up the guy that did my tattoo and does a lot of tattoos for a couple of our regulars, Will and Chris here. He donated 3 hours of time, and she bid that up, and I won that. So I already texted Jay and said, "Hey, buddy, we're gonna have to add on."
Yeah, heck yeah, dude.
So so she won that for me, and I don't know what else. I think that was all. That's all we really bid on one. So
yeah, sweet.
It was a good day. It was a really good day. I mean, the barrel that Dirk picked with Jason up there, old
55 bourbon
was really good. It
was it cask strength or bottled and bond?
It was cask strength.
Cool.
And it was one of the best releases I think I've ever had from Old 55.
Wow.
Now I did really like the original cask strength sweet corn.
Yeah.
That was great. This one here on a straight bourbon, I mean, you remember that first pick that the club did.
Yeah, I picked it.
I need to do them side by side and see how good they are compared to each other. This one here is delicious. Wow. Dirk did a hell of a job on this barrel. And half of the proceeds of that went right back to the End of Watch program. That's amazing. Too. So
yeah,
a little pricey bottle, but it was worth it doing it for him. So
yeah, absolutely. And when you go to a charity event, you're kind of expecting and you're expected to be spending some money. It's not like you're just showing up to a liquor store or anything like that. You're going there for a cause, and also you'll get a memento out of the game.
Yep.
So
that's
really cool.
The one thing I was really happy about was that our Peach Street, we donated a Peachtree bottle, and it sold for more than what the Starlight Amberana finish was. Thank God. Yeah. That's just me, guys. I'm sorry.
That's funny. Do you know what it went up to?
I think it went up. I think it was 170 is what it ended up going for.
That's pretty good.
There was a small gift card on it too, but yeah, I think it was 170. The backbone was around 110, 115, something like that. That's awesome. Yeah. So the whole goal of that was just to get him out there and give something for him to auction off and people came out and raised a lot of money. So
Yeah,
it
that's
was a
super
great day.
cool. Good, man. Good. People smoke cigars at all, or just?
Oh yeah, yeah. We
Cool.
sold quite a few cigars, and Jason put up a little area out just outside the door there that people could sit out there and smoke.
Sweet.
And a
That's
lot
great.
of people did. So it was a good day. We actually sold quite a few items. We
Yeah.
took a lot, but you know what the big winner was?
What's that?
Jackie Zycan's perfumes.
Serious?
Yes,
That's amazing.
Lisa sold most of our stock while we were there and had to reorder.
That's awesome.
So I'm like,
Good.
good. People are starting to understand that Jackie knows what the hell she's doing, and
She does
now
know
she's
what
doing
she's doing.
fragrances,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool.
She's doing fragrances, and she still knows what she's
And
doing.
she still knows what the hell she's
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, yeah. By the way, don't go too deep on this because I got another pour for you here in a minute.
Well, I would consider myself to be in the second third of this cigar. It's kicking up in strength a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a
It starts off as a solid medium,
Yeah.
but I feel like it gets maybe to a medium full at the most.
Yeah, on the palate with the whiskey on the cigar, it's it almost reminds me of the chocolate graham crackers. Like the whiskey is bringing together a lot of those vanilla, those baking spice qualities. The chocolate still has, or the cigar still has that unsweet chocolate quality in there. On the retrohale, I'm finally finding some pepper, but it's still not knock you over.
Right. Just enough to know it's there. And some of that could just be coming from the heat, too. But,
Yeah, it's just a
No.
super mild, like black pepper.
and I, honestly, when he first released it, I'm like, dude, these sound amazing. And I ordered some boxes from him. I got them in and saw the price on them. I'm like, oh my God. I actually checked him to make sure, is this the right price? He's like, yeah, that's the right price. I'm like, all right. I mean, this
That's
should be a
amazing.
winner. Should be a
Yeah.
winner for anybody that wants to get especially this is a good cigar. If you want to get a couple cigars, you want to have a little bit higher dollar, nicer cigar, or maybe it's a little bit milder. Finish out your night with this one, and you're only going to add another $7 to your bill. And
So here's my thing with it is the Juarez is kind of a one-trick pony, but it's a great cigar for that one trick.
yeah,
This is changing enough that you could price this at $10 and I would still be like, oh yeah.
I was expecting this to be a little bit higher than the regular releases, just because everyone's prices have kind of slowly gone
Yeah.
up. And I've not raised our prices based on new prices. My prices are based on what they were selling, what I bought them for.
Yeah.
And we still have some stock of their stuff from when I first bought it a few months ago. I was expecting this one to be over $10.
Yeah. It's
Shocked.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So what have you got?
You want to see
for
this
us?
little special for
Should
us?
I be nervous about this?
Oh no, you're gonna be excited.
Okay.
Turn your head that way.
What you got? I have to turn my head around so I can be surprised. Can I turn around now?
Not yet. Gotta show the crowd here.
I'm peeking.
Gotta show the crowd here. So I was able to acquire Heaven Hill 20
Are you kidding me?
that we're gonna crack and see how good it is today.
Is this shop or personal bottle?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to get more so we could have them on the bar here.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a cheap bottle. And I was looking up today, and most stores are selling this for like $1,700 now,
yeah.
which is insane. It's a $300 MSRP.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring a bottle in to try it. I'm trying to get a couple more bottles to throw it up on the shelf. But I definitely want, because I know you're a Mellocorn guy.
I have been dying to try this.
I have been dying to try it too.
It has not gotten the highest reviews. It's because people are like, it's 20-year mellow corn. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Like, hey.
You know what? I know Heaven Hill, and I love Heaven Hill.
Yeah. I'm just botching
I'm just
this.
excited to try it. So
There we go. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe you actually scored one of these.
I'm hoping to get two more. I'm supposed to get a full case of them.
You sweet talk your guy just right?
Actually, it was my rep. She actually is the one that got it for me.
That's amazing. I didn't realize there were still any available.
It may be the only one I get.
Yeah.
We'll find out. But
Oh my, oh my goodness! I can't believe you got this. What's the
so 115, I think is what it was, or
yeah, 115 proof,
so sweet on the nose.
20-year mellow corn.
Gosh, it's almost got that kind of fruited Kool-Aid kind of nose to it.
That is wild fruity.
I'm not mad.
That's
That's super
crazy.
fruity.
I did not expect this at all.
No, I was expecting to be a corn bomb. This is really good.
It is really good, and it's still in those like lighter sugar notes.
I could see people drinking this thinking this is 100% finished and something fruity.
Yeah,
I could
What the
also see
heck?
why it may have not got the best reviews for like the bourbon channels.
I mean,
only because
it's
it doesn't
not your
taste
typical
like
bourbon. Like you think about bottles like Heaven Hill
Ooh.
17 and some of the Parker's Heritage, which have those super dark brown sugar notes that you expect out of Heaven Hill, and this is not that.
Does this got a little smokiness on the palate? When
I
you
can
get?
see that.
Oh man! So this is a 20-year-old, 80% corn, 8% rye, 12% malted barley. Just released. It was in the Bernheim Rick House.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you remember Heaven Hill 17 last year, I've talked about it a lot because that's Lisa's favorite.
Yeah.
This is this year's release, and I like
Crazy.
it. I like it.
that quite a bit.
I need to get a bottle for my bar at home now because that's just unique enough to where it would stand out from anything else on the bar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I knew you'd be excited about it.
I am excited
You've been
about that.
dying to get that for a long time.
I've been dying to try it, man.
I haven't even seen it at any bars or anything yet. So I will say I'll probably go ahead and put this on the bar and keep fighting to get one for personal use. So this will probably be going up on the bar. It's not going to be a cheap pour, but you know what? You get a chance to try it.
Yeah.
You're probably talking that 50 plus range on a price of a
Yeah.
pour. But I'll be honest with you, if you're buying this at a more high-end area or downtown Indy or something, you're probably going to be paying $100-150 a pour for this. I guarantee it.
And actually, that goes well with the cigar too. It brings a lot of that fruitiness into the cigar.
It lightened the cigar up a lot, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it did. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you actually got that. That's crazy,
So
Rob.
come in and get it while you can.
Yeah. Yeah. He's serious.
Ain't gonna last.
It is.
It might just be me drinking it, but it ain't gonna last.
Or me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's crazy
that's good. It's really good. I'm shocked
I've had this
how good it is.
conversation with a lot of bourbon guys, but you think about a lot of the whiskeys that hit secondary and a lot of the whiskeys people go after. Now, apart from like the finishes and stuff like that, but the thing that popular whiskey that's readily available doesn't have that bottles like this do is that refined oak characteristic where it is oaky, but it's not tannic.
Right.
Where it's been around, it's had enough seasons through it to where the whiskey's actually been able to develop with the amount of oak
Yeah.
that it's hanging with.
Right.
You know, it's not sawdusty, it's not charred in flavor. It definitely is some oak presence, but it's not tannic and nasty. Like even some Elijah Craig
And you
barrel
look at
proofs
the
will
color
get.
of it. It's not crazy dark for 20 years,
It's because it's a corn whiskey.
which is good because I think if it was crazy dark, they would have pulled way more of that char out of the barrel. That probably would have over oaked it.
Yeah, but corn whiskeys, light whiskeys, don't typically get dark like a bourbon
True.
will.
That is true.
You think
And
about
you're 80% corn on this, which I thought it was higher corn than that. I guess I didn't realize it was only 80.
you think about brands like Obtainium, and they'll sell you a high-aged MGP light whiskey, and you'll be able to get some like 20-year Obtainium. It's around a similar price point to this, and it's still that same color, just just because it's majority corn. I
Yeah.
think there's something that happens with a lot of rye content and the way that interacts with the barrel.
Yeah.
But that is wonderful. I'm shocked by that.
I am too.
That's
I was really expecting it to be like, not my jam.
it's
It's good. I could drink this
right
every
now.
day.
It's not sitting as a holy grail bottle for me.
No, but I could drink it every day.
It's a fantastic whiskey.
Yeah. Now, would I spend secondary money on it?
No.
No. Because secondary is stupid on this right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know what secondary is on it because I know seeing some of the stores online, like Corksters or Corkers, whatever they call that one, I think they were at $17.50 for a bottle, and that's a store you're buying it at, not
Yeah.
even a secondary.
Well, that's not even legit secondary market pricing. Let me go to.
If you have a secondary side, it'd be interesting to find out what that's going for. Because it would be, I mean, honestly, it'd be worth getting it for a little bit above MSRP. I don't think I'd want to spend more than MSRP on this.
Yeah, so let me see. Heaven Hill 20 year on a national group 2 days ago went for $800 for the bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not as high as I expected.
No,
Not especially with the 17 as high as it was.
Well, it's
Probably
because the
of
17's a
reviews.
bourbon. The 17's a bourbon.
True. True.
People, I mean, as soon as the label got released to the TTB, everyone was like, "Oh, who wants 20-year mellow corn?"
That's what
You know what
screwed
the
it.
answer is? Me. I want 20-year mellow corn.
Especially after trying it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and that is a shame because the 17, I don't think I ever saw a review from anybody that said this is not excellent whiskey.
Yeah.
This one here, you've had people all over the board, and I think most of it's just perception of mellow corn.
Yeah. Well, and there's another one that went for $650. So they are lower in the I guess as far as that bottles of that caliber go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Heaven Hill.
Man, that is so good.
17. What's that going for right now? That is becoming
It's got to be
harder
really
and harder
up there
to
now.
get now. It's right around 1,000.
Really?
It looks like, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot lower than I expected. Wonder why it's that low now that you can't get it.
So this one sold for $11.25
Okay.
shipped. And
No,
no, we're
that
not
one was up over $2,000 there for a while.
here at the stores on secondary markets.
It never hit that?
It
Oh.
never did.
Okay.
But here at Final Third, we do not condone the secondary market.
No.
Why am I there? Well, because I think it's funny, and I like to be informed.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's good to know because, when you start hunting down the dragon fire, whatever they're calling it, from Fireball, Dragon's Reserve, when that hits secondary at $22, man, you're gonna be all over that.
all over it.
So you gotta be on the secondary to get
If
that
it's
stuff.
under 50 on secondary, I'm gonna hit it.
Oh, dude, no,
I will
don't.
totally do that.
Don't.
And once we drink it, I'll store it in the freezer.
Damn taters. Yeah, well, and that's the only way to drink Fireballs from the
I'll
freezer.
trade an Eagle Rare for it.
I'm gonna have to find one now.
An
Not that
Eagle
I want
Rare?
an Eagle Rare. No,
I
mean,
have one.
Well, I know, but I mean,
I've got like 4.
Not that I need an Eagle Rare, but I just want to mess with you on getting one of the Fireballs now and trade you for it.
Okay, so my next sip on this Heaven Hill 20 just brought a lot of the chocolate notes out
Of the
with
cigar?
the cigar. Yeah, it is like chocolate graham cracker to me.
So we're doing a 2-for-1 today on the reviews. So
Except Heaven Hill 20 will not be on the board.
no, it will not be on the board. I mean, you can get the pour, but it's not going to be on the board. The pairing is definitely this, but this is actually pairing nicely with that.
It is.
Although I would say if I'm spending that kind of money on a pour, probably get me a Los Seis.
You might as well.
Because that one
the
would go
Los Seis
great
would
with
go
that.
wonderfully.
It would
with
go
this, yeah.
excellent with that.
I also think it would go good with the Camacho pre-embargo.
I think so too. If you're looking for something a little bit more on the milder, earthier side, go that route. If you want something a little bit spicier and more bold, go with the Los Seis.
Could also go with the Corojo Reserva. Just be it'd probably be more like a fruit pie at that rate with all of those.
I think the one
bacon.
thing I do believe with this is, I think you need to have a bold cigar to stand up to
Oh,
the fruit
definitely,
notes.
definitely.
Not that this is like a bold whiskey,
with
but
the
it's
amount of oak
tons
tannin
of
in
flavor.
it, you can't. It would steamroll a Cameroon.
It would, or a Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really good.
It is really good.
I'm very, very surprised.
I'm not that surprised. Heaven Hill, when they put out
Well,
a limited
yeah.
release, you're just like, oh yeah,
Sign me up.
sign me up. For
Yep.
real. Wow.
Well, I'm heading down tomorrow with Dirk. Going down to
Hard truth?
Hard Truth to do a pick with him.
Isn't he meeting the ABV guys down there?
I'm not sure who all's going. He
Okay.
just asked me if I can go, and I'm like, yeah.
Sweet.
So we got the ATV tour set up to do the tour of the property, and gonna eat lunch there and do a barrel pick and see how it goes.
I haven't been to Hard Truth yet.
The place is beautiful. It's really nice. It definitely is a good fit for Nashville because they have good food. Hopefully their liquor keeps getting better and better. I mean, some of those sweet mash ryes have been really good.
They are
I don't
good.
know what he's picking. I'm not sure 100% what he's picking yet.
I'd imagine it's a sweet mash.
I would
rye,
assume
but-
so because it's gonna be some of their better stuff. I would assume, especially everything Dirk does is usually the better bottles.
Yeah, he does get priority access to picks.
It is so funny because if you ever meet Dirk and if you haven't met him yet, I think
quiet dude.
a lot of people think, oh, this guy's running this big page. He's got to be like, hardcore, blah, blah, blah. He's one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet in
Straight
your
up,
entire
yeah.
life. I mean, I think he probably still kind of gets up in the morning and goes, I can't believe we got this many people following us and this many people
Yeah.
interested in this thing that we're
I
passionate
mean,
about.
but he really
love
put
it.
in the work for it.
He did.
And it wasn't like he never had a gimmick like a lot of the other guys in the area. And you know
Right.
what? If that's your grind, that you do you. But he never had a gimmick like
Right.
the rest of the guys did. And he's just Indiana bourbon. Well, him and his wife are Indiana bourbon.
Yep.
And now they've used that platform that they built from scratch, like years and years and years in the making,
Yeah.
to do this charity.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
and instead of building their own empire, they're choosing, which they could definitely do.
Oh, they easily could
Dirk
do that.
could sell his own merch and people would buy it.
I bought a
Dirk-
T-shirt. I bought one of those T-shirts.
Does he have T-shirts?
He had, I think, 5 left from like an old batch, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I need one of those, so I got one from him.
Yeah. But it's like he could straight up build his own merch. I'm sure liquor stores around here would carry it.
Honestly, he would
doesn't
never
do
even have
that.
to sell it to liquor stores because I think the people that support him would buy all the bottles up from
Oh, yeah.
him. And he's now a 501c3, which I'm so glad he got that set up. He's not going to get dinged so hard on taxes
Yeah.
this year. So, if you're looking to do donations with him, it's all right off now. So, be on the lookout. If you're not following him on Instagram, follow him. It's just Indiana Bourbon. And he's definitely a guy you want to check out and see what he's doing because everything he's doing turns to gold, one, but second, it's for an amazing cause.
Well, and he's got a great palate too.
He does. He really does.
All of the picks that I've done with him and that he's done on his own are fantastic.
Yeah, and I've only done the one pick with him, which was the
French lick.
pick we did. And, yeah, I mean, he was definitely right in the exact same world we were the entire time, which honestly, we could have picked any of the barrels that we tasted from, and they would have been winners.
Part of me would love to eventually get one of those complexity
Oh,
barrels.
we will. We will.
I
mean,
just think off the bat it would be a hard sell.
It would.
But once we get people into like,
brandy.
hey, actually think I like brandy. That first complexity barrel that we tried,
Awesome.
crazy good.
It
And it
was.
had a lot of those butterscotchy notes in there.
Yep.
But there was a little bit of agave
Yeah.
in there.
I,
And
I think you're right, though. The hard thing with that one would be you have brandy and tequila barrels. So you got two things that could be off-putting to a lot of different people.
well, just like if we could cover up the label on it and say, this is what you need, that would work. But
Yeah.
you can't do that.
No. Well, and that's one thing I know Dirk and I really are going to try hard to do is to try to educate people on what Alan is doing with brandy. It's going to be it's definitely more for the bourbon lovers out there. It's not for your typical I want a fruity
And not
brandy
just bourbon
crowd.
lovers, cash strength
Cast
bourbon
strength,
lovers.
Yes. Yeah, I mean our these two picks are over 140. At least they are now.
Yeah.
We'll see if they finish out that way, but
We never got a real proof reading on it. It was just
No.
Alan saying, "Oh yeah,
which I trust him.
I do trust him." Yeah.
That dude probably could put his finger in and go 140.3. I'm like,
Yeah,
I got you.
I mean, being a moonshiner, you could probably put it in a mason jar and
Shake it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Count the
see that.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. And I don't know, we may end up getting the Elijah Craig and the French Lick pick about the same time.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun this summer. We got some great stuff coming. I can't wait to have it out there. When is this show recording?
This show will be
Or
going
airing.
Next
Friday.
which
Okay.
is the Friday directly before the 4th of July.
Gotcha. Okay. So it does no good for me to talk about the Espinosa event since that was yesterday.
It was yesterday. So here's the deal. We're pre-recording because I'm going to be in Brazil.
Yeah.
So
You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing?
I guess I'm going down with the church, and I'm not totally sure what all I'm going to be doing, but I at least have one preaching date in a rural village. I think I have no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, going down with the church, helping to lead the team, but also have run camera for them. So
Okay.
just kind of bringing gear
I've
down.
never been to Brazil.
I've never been to Brazil either. Like
I've been to Ecuador a lot, but I've never been to Brazil.
I've been to Ecuador and Peru twice, and like those were nice because they're Spanish-speaking countries, and like
Yeah.
I can get my way around a Spanish-speaking country, but Brazilians speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
and
It's gonna be a different animal.
I have no knowledge of Portuguese past my guitar instructor in college, and that was because he would yell to the other Brazilian guitar instructor in Portuguese.
Nice.
It was very angry.
Well,
yeah.
You'll be down there you'll have plenty of people
I'm sure we'll have
translating.
translators. We better, because I don't know how
Nah,
to
you
preach
will.
without a translator.
I've never been on any mission trip that they were
No,
not
I know.
translators.
I know. It'll be fine. A lot of them are just like, oh, white people? Yeah, we'll show up to church today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 100% right on that.
You end up signing autographs, which feels terrible.
Well, and it's funny. It's like, because I have a love and hate for missions.
Oh, me too.
I love the idea of missions, and honestly, I love the idea more so of taking people from America to these countries and just connecting with them relationally.
yeah.
Not trying to teach them things, because they probably know way more than we do on most of the stuff that they believe.
Yeah.
That's different.
Oh, and they have
But
to,
I hate them.
and-
I hate the idea of missions when they just send groups down and like, oh, we're going to paint your church for you. I'm like, send the fucking money down there
Straight
and,
up.
and let them paint their own church
Yep.
and have an abundance of cash
Yeah.
for them to live on.
Uh-huh.
That's way better than just sending a group of 10 people down that you spent, what,
2,500,
30, 40 grand total on,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
everything
yeah.
with tickets. Send that money down there and let them actually live.
Yeah. The cool thing is our church and a couple other partner churches just funded a roof for one of the church's gymnasiums, and they do a lot of like kids outreach and feeding the kids in this gymnasium. So we'll get to see it being dedicated, like the new roof, because they had a roof over it and then it just rusted in and collapsed in on the place.
Oh, that
so
sucks.
it's like.
And they would never be able to afford to replace that.
No, I mean, we fundraised 45 grand for them.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, that'll be a cool thing to see. But really the most impactful things that I've done on mission trips probably to date was a town in Peru. It's called Caraballo, which is right outside of Lima, but it's where it's a rock village. all of the moms there, like a lot of it is single mom families with a ton of kids because all the moms go into Lima and they're prostitutes, and all the kids will chisel out rocks to try and fill a truck to make money for the family. So like the kids are working and chiseling rocks all day to try and fill a dump truck.
Wow.
And the moms are going and selling their bodies and, you know, as a consequence, having more kids.
Yeah.
So like that, just bringing food to them, being with them, providing an outlet for the kids, being able to like pay for them a day so that they could just like
Be kids.
be kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was probably the coolest thing I've ever done. But I mean, granted, I was in Kenya in first grade. I don't know what type of parents take their kids to Kenya in first grade, but it was pretty cool.
Cool parents.
You know?
Cool
Cool parents.
Yeah. Well,
But-
and that's what, you know, I haven't been able to take Chloe on any trip overseas like that yet.
It
but I took
really
the other
paints a
two.
new narrative for the life you live.
It really does.
And
I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, I came back, you know, and I'm sure you've seen this. You come back into America, and the first Americans you see are who? Customs. And they're assholes to
Yeah.
people coming in that don't speak our language. I'm like, first of all, America is a melting pot of humanity.
Yeah.
And they treat people and they berate them if they don't speak the language. I'm like, these people are coming here because they want to spend a crap ton of money hanging out in America, doing the thing. And the first people they meet, and so you wonder why, you know, you go around the world and everyone says, oh, Americans are assholes. Like, that's the first Americans they meet.
Yeah.
It's like, why would they not think that we're all a bunch of assholes here?
yeah, I mean, seriously, and honestly, a lot of them are. You know?
Not all. I shouldn't say all of them are that way, but I've seen it. I've gotten home and I was almost depressed thinking, I don't even want to live here, man. These people suck.
Yeah.
Took me a few weeks to get out of that.
Like when I go and travel, I mean simple stuff is like bringing guitar strings to these people that have been having the same rusty guitar strings on their guitar that they play in church all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's an easy thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Like I'll buy a bulk pack and it's like $60 and whatever. It'll have 30 sets of strings in it. You just drop them off with people.
But every dollar that they make goes to feeding their family.
Yeah.
So they can't afford to buy new strings.
So
There is no budget for them to do stuff like
no,
that.
I mean, and it's like, heck, the church will buy me guitar strings and whatever I want, they'll fix my guitar for me. But
Yeah.
just because
it's
we
part
live,
of your livelihood.
It is part of my livelihood.
Yep.
But just being able to do that and connect with people, and a lot of it is encouragement to these people. Like, hey, keep going. Like what you're doing is good,
Yeah.
and you're making a difference in your community just by providing some sort of hope in a space that otherwise is just work, provide for your family, eat, go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. 7 days a week.
Yeah.
There's no time off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's one of those things I think that every American should see, because I think you'll realize that there's a reason why that people around the world go, you know, America is the home of the free. You know, now I will say I feel like
There's a lot of bad missions that have been
there's
done.
a ton.
I mean,
I would
even-
say the majority of missions are bad missions.
even down to the fact of like overseas like churches building orphanages and funding orphanages.
yeah, and then leaving.
Well,
And then it becomes very corrupt once you
Well,
have other people in charge.
there's a lot of stories of people getting kids at a young age from these orphanages, and then later once the kid can talk, they'll ask, where's mommy, where's daddy, because their parents just dropped them off at the orphanage because, well, the orphanage would
feed them.
pay the parents
Yeah.
to get the kid because they'll make more money off the kid.
Yeah.
And
It's honestly, it's just another
It's
form
like-
of human trafficking.
it is.
Even though it's
terrible.
going to another home, it's still human trafficking.
And yeah, granted, a lot of these kids are given a better life than they
They
would
are.
have had, but it is still human trafficking, and it's
is.
terrible. There's a lot
is.
of harm that happens on like, especially when we send money over. A lot of you guys know that I'm a non-denominational Christian pastor, so I'm I'm gonna dog on them, but groups like Compassion International,
Yeah.
and they present at almost every big Christian concert. This is a group that, one, they're like CEOs, the big dogs in the company live large.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is not a ministry salary. This is this seven
Six-figure,
figure, like,
7 figures. You're probably right. Yeah.
like
Yeah. Private jets, all
serious
the stuff.
serious,
Yes.
and they'll send money down to the kids, and the parents benefit off of this, and a lot of times all you're doing is feeding into that system.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go put a clean water system in
Right.
a village,
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's another thing when you're just funding that sort of thing.
Right. Well, and the missions that I don't get behind, and I've been on these trips, so I can dog on them because I've done it before.
Yeah.
But it's the ones where you got 10 people going, and each person's going to cost you a couple grand a person to go.
Oh, yeah.
And you get there, and basically you buy a bunch of paint, and you paint the church,
Yeah.
and you do a VBS, and it's like
The
they
hard,
could do this stuff better for their own kids.
well, and the hard part is
themselves.
the next church that VBS or the next VBS that church does, they will never be able to live up to what the white people did.
Right. And
So
honestly,
people
it's-
won't come.
And it's all about, you bring stuff to give away and stuff. They can't afford that.
Yeah.
But, my point about that was always, I'd much rather raise, if you got 10 people, $2,000 a pop, I'd much rather give 20 grand to somebody and say, use this for your families and your community. And that doesn't mean, take this money and go preach the gospel. No, that means get them food and clothing and things they need for life. That's the important part here. We're not, we're never going to go anywhere in the world and teach them something new about what their beliefs are.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't.
Uh-uh.
But that's what typically happens is you go in
Well,
thinking you're higher and mightier than anybody else there, and you're going to teach them your way because your way is the right way.
The crazy
It's so
thing
wrong.
is how, and I will say this, and it sounds mildly woke, but how, like, colonized and how Americanized a lot of these other countries are.
Oh, 100%.
I got in touch with a couple Brazilian pastors because I'm supposed to be doing some worship nights in Brazil, and said, "Hey, what are you singing right now?"
Same stuff's being sung here.
Yeah.
The pop stuff.
Well, and it's like a lot of Hillsong and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, and of course, they're like 2-3 years behind what we're
Sure.
seeing. But it's not stuff that speaks to their culture at all. That
No.
stuff works in our culture because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way these churches there are able to do that level of like anthem rock.
Yeah.
And
No.
you just can't justify that. One of my favorite things was when we were in Ecuador, we went into the Amazon, and there was a village out there that had come, like, one guy had shared the gospel with a witch doctor, and the witch doctor at the time was the guy that ran the town, and that's just kind of how it goes.
See, Don.
But when we went there, they were singing songs that they wrote about God because they don't have access to the internet out there.
Right. Yeah.
And what did we bring to them? We brought them chickens, a crossover motorcycle, and we just shared community with them. My mom brought them pixie sticks.
Oh, there you go.
The kids' pixie sticks.
Kids loved every minute of that, I bet.
She had to rip them open and pour them into the kid's mouth because they didn't know how to do it.
Well, sure.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, it was a cool experience for us just to see that. But like, they killed their one chicken in the village, the one chicken that was ready to feed or help feed
To feed the white people.
the white people.
Exactly.
We brought them extra chickens. We brought them
Yeah.
a lot of chickens.
That's good.
But it
because
was-
that's what happens a lot of times is like you go in and you're going there and you're doing menial tasks and basically a glorified vacation to make
Yeah.
yourself feel better.
Oh, yeah.
And you go and they feed you the best food, whether that means they're not going to eat for a few days or what. They're going to feed it to you. And it's like, we got to stop that. We got to stop doing that stuff and start giving them the things they need if we're going to do it, or just get out of it and let them do it themselves
Yeah.
because they're going to do it better themselves anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and there are a lot of people like on this mission trip that we've got going down. I guess this week when it airs, I'll already be in Brazil that have never been on a mission trip before. And I just told them in our like pre-missions meetings, you need to be fine just eating rice and beans. You have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You just have to be. You'll get fresh fruit for breakfast and rice and beans for lunch and for dinner. And you have to be okay with that. You never ask for anything else.
No.
What they give you is what they have.
And that's what you
just
eat.
have to be okay with
You
it.
can't be picky. You
And
got to
they're
eat
like,
it.
what if you're sick and tired of rice and beans? That's
You
not
eat
even
rice
a
and
question.
beans again, yes. Because you're going home in a few days. Eat whatever the hell
You'll
you want
be able
when
to
you
eat
get
at the
home.
McDonald's in the airport if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
that dying.
Yeah, because McDonald's is infiltrated into every culture.
Yeah. But you know,
Excuse me.
it's just tough.
Wow.
That's rough,
Damn.
Rob. It is tough bringing fully westernized, upper middle class people to an area where, yeah, all they eat every day is rice and beans because that's what they can afford.
Mm-hmm.
When we've bought milk for them, it's been powdered milk because
Yeah.
that lasts.
It does, yeah.
And
And a lot of these places don't have good refrigeration.
no,
So you
there's
can't
no
give them
refrigeration in a lot of them.
And there are, yeah, yeah.
So it's just it's a completely different way of living. And if you are going to go there and thrive and not offend them, you just have to go with the flow.
Have you ever, and you've seen the book, but there's a book out there called When Helping Hurts.
Yeah, it's a good book.
It's a great book, and it just talks about the things we're talking about here. It's like, as Americans, we think, oh, by us showing up and telling you what we think, we're helping you. It's like, no, that's not helping anybody. They need food. They need shelter.
So
Other than that, they can work and make the money to survive day to day.
there's very few missions organizations out there that I will legitimately support. One of them is Missionary Ventures. They go out of their way to create opportunity for money in the communities.
Yeah.
They also go out of their way to put in clean drinking systems and all of these things. And they, when they commit to doing something somewhere, they will see it through.
Yeah.
Like years down the line. Of course, they also know what's our scope of reach. What can we do?
Yeah. There's this one group that actually I helped out with quite a bit at my last job. That they were a bunch of athletes from the Carolinas, and they had their organization above them. But what they would do is they go to different countries, and every year I would donate a bunch of basketball goals for them to take, and basically they would build basketball courts. And you think, oh, that's not something they need. You know what though? When you see a group of kids and they're shooting on a milk crate,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're doing just to get away from the stresses of life or whatever else. And you put a basketball court in there, that is the draw of the entire community.
Yeah.
And I loved what they were doing with that. And they also tied into a group that was doing the clean water. And basically, I mean, you're talking about a filtration system that might cost $600-700,
Yeah.
which they could never ever afford to do
Ever.
And they donate that and they install it and they maintain it for them. And that gives, because I mean, I'm not joking. The water they drink down there, in a lot of cases, when you get there, is literally barrels that collect rain that they not only drink out of, but they also jump in to bathe.
Yeah.
They'll jump into these things to rinse off and get out there, and
Yeah.
they're drinking that same water. So you wonder why they have a lot of disease. But fresh water, man, will completely change an entire community.
Yeah. And I mean,
And I mean, we're beating a dead horse here, but I mean, it's important.
I mean, that's even to the point that when my family goes down on mission trip, we'll just pack a suitcase full of soccer balls and a pump.
Yep.
Like you
Hand them out to the kids.
hand them out to the kids. That's Christmas morning for them.
Because almost every other country in the entire world, the kids are playing soccer. They're not playing any other sports we play here in America. they're playing soccer.
And a lot of times they don't have a ball.
Never, hardly ever. I mean, they'll throw whatever they can down on the ground to kick.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. The other thing I told our team, which it feels mildly insensitive, but it is what it is. I said the dogs down there are not pets. Do not feel bad for them. Do not, because
They're overrun.
I've been on some trips where my father is a redneck guy, and he loves his pet dog, but he also grew up in the country where if your dog got so sick you couldn't help it, you shot it.
You got to put it down.
There have been some dogs that he's just put down out of their misery just because that's humane.
Yes.
Like, there's no nursing these dogs back to health. They're so diseased and have no food. Like, you can't even throw food out the window at the dog because it's unfair to keep it alive any longer.
Yeah.
But it's just a completely different world, and training the Western brain to realize that this is not home. There are no vets out here.
Right.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's definitely something if you are in this position to be able to go to one of the third world countries or just a village somewhere, wherever you're traveling, I wouldn't say just go in and see it. I'd say go in and actually connect with some of the people in those communities because, the people, like I said, people in Ecuador, man, I've developed some great friendships down there with people that I can't wait to visit one of these days if I ever get a chance to do it again. And it's not about going down there and talking to them about anything other than how you doing, how's life treating you. You know, this is going even further, but
it's okay.
I'll say it. There was a really weird situation, and I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic since I was 11. And there was this lady, and I just had a feeling there was somebody down at this one church. We were down there. We were talking, and I said, for some reason, I'm feeling like there's someone here that has diabetes. I don't know why, but makes no sense. And he's like, yeah, one of our ladies here. And she brought her out to me, and I talked to her. And she goes to the hospital once a week because they let her take her blood test once a week for free. And her blood sugar is always like 300. I mean, she said the last time it was like 500. I'm not saying this to toot my own horn in any way. I'd send them down, $300 or $400 at a time. That would give her 6 months to a year's worth of insulin that she could not take. And I'm like, $100 would give her 3 to 6 months worth of insulin for her to stay alive. I'm like,
yeah.
And that's one bottle of insulin lasts me a week here.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's insane how cheap things are down there, but they can't afford them because they don't have income.
Yeah.
She literally made bead jewelry, and she made me a couple of alligators and sent them to me. And it's like, I cherish those things. Yeah, they're like 10-cent little trinkets, but that's what she could do. And I don't know. I think a lot of times missions, they get too big focused where they think, oh, we got to help an entire community. I'm like, man, connect with one person and help that one person. Do your one thing and change their life because you really can.
If compassion was like, yeah, we're going to provide insulin for these people.
Oh, my God.
The other thing is you're not just providing insulin for that lady. You're giving her time that she doesn't have to go. That she can continue to work, that she doesn't have to worry about her health, that her blood sugar doesn't put her down. You know, it's
and somehow she fell off the entire planet because about 3 or 4 years ago, I lost complete contact with all of them where I couldn't even do it anymore. So I don't even know where she is this day.
Yeah.
But for about 10 years, we got to be a part of that.
It's amazing.
It is.
Well, again, on the church thing, I am employed by the church, and a lot of churches will say, oh, you've got to tithe here. I am lucky to be at a church that says, no, tithe, where you want to. So I will go out of my way to support organizations that I believe in.
Yeah.
Because one, I don't believe there's any faith in tithing to my own income.
True.
but because there's a lot better things and a lot more tangible things being done through some of these organizations, like some stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and I mean that's one of the things that Lisa and I have been talking about a lot because we get everybody everywhere around here that says, "Oh, we're having an event. Will you sponsor this? Will you do this? Will you do that?" We love to do that. But what I told her I'd like to do is I'd like to pick a couple of organizations that we can actually support all the time and continue to do that. And one of the ones is definitely going to be Dirk's End of Watch program. We're going to be working hard on doing that one.
I mean,
we've got a couple
that
other
program
ones.
is doing real tangible good.
100%.
A lot of the fundraising that goes along here is like fundraising for research. And as much as I think a lot of that stuff is important, I might get in trouble for saying this. The medical industry is so messed up. I think there's a lot of cures that have. This is conspiracy theory, Isaiah. I think there's a lot of
Trimac, this
cures
is for you, buddy.
that have already been found that they don't want to be found.
No, because you would lose that ability to.
If you keep somebody
if you cure cancer,
sick,
that screws a lot of people.
if you keep somebody sick, you're able to make a whole lot more money off of it.
Yeah, I do agree. There is some to that for sure.
Well, I have friends at Lilly that'll just be that you get them drunk and they'll be blunt about stuff that happens.
Well, I mean,
and it just makes you sick.
I mean, we have
Don't throw them
regulars.
Under the bus.
No, we have regulars that work there, and I will say, I mean, those companies do a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of stuff out there that you're like, man, could you? You know, it's like diabetes. I mean, I've had diabetes since I was 11, and I'm like, they haven't come up with a cure for this yet. I kind of feel like there probably are cures out there, you know, we won't go any further with that, but I feel like there are some cures out there, or at least some ability to take care of things better than what we're doing. But
Okay.
all right, so where are you going?
We'll get off of that.
I'm
in
Sorry
the
about
final
the
third.
rant, guys.
It's okay. I'm sure somebody gleaned something from that. And if you didn't glean anything from it and you'd just like to continue the conversation with us, come on in and talk with us.
Oh yeah,
But I'm in the final third of the cigar.
I am too.
It's amazing.
It really is. I'm still shocked at the price point on this cigar. It's burned perfectly. I mean, it's still burning like a champ right here.
Yeah, a lot of that chocolate graham cracker thing, it's becoming a little bit more toasty with a little more of those char notes.
Yeah.
On the retro hail, it's like a light red pepper right now. But it is
Yeah,
great.
it is.
It's great.
The pepper definitely did kick up now, which is what I would expect for a medium full cigar.
Yeah. But this cigar, if you're drinking black coffee, I think it could be a good black coffee stick.
I think it could be too.
Obviously, it's a good whiskey cigar.
What isn't?
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
there are some. There are some that you.
I don't smoke those cigars because that's blasphemy.
I know.
That's bad.
There are some, though. There's some cigars that I've got where I'm just like, this doesn't even go good with water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy, man.
So you're when this airs, you're gonna be in Brazil.
Yeah.
When do you get back?
Well, when the next one airs, I'll be on my way home from Brazil.
Are you there for a week?
Week and a half.
Week and a half? Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be getting back Saturday the 8th.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good
I'll
deal.
be coming back and I guess straight back into the grind of things. So
Nice.
It is what it is.
And you're working on the whole the wedding day stuff. You guys got things
All
going
of
pretty
that,
well on
man.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to our guys at the signage. If you shout out to you. You're getting shouted out with some Heaven Hill 20
Oh yeah.
because you're absolutely amazing and your prices are unbeatable.
Kyle. Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah. So of course I do all the graphic design stuff, but I designed wedding invites and sent them to him, And basically, me designing those invites, getting them printed, and then buying envelopes on Amazon. The wedding invites came out to like 40 cents a pop,
Oh, that's awesome.
which is amazing. Like you go anywhere online and you'll spend like $2-3 a piece on them.
I
And it's
still
just
can't
rough.
believe we're not in the world yet where everything goes e-invite. It should have. We should be there by now.
Man, the problem is with that is that
older
everybody's
family.
getting everything on electronic. Like
Yeah.
when somebody sends me a Facebook invitation to an event, I just feel like something in me says, "Oh, they're not really serious about that." Like they didn't really think that far into doing that. Granted, for like events at like a commercial establishment and stuff like that, you're
That
like,
makes sense.
yeah, it totally makes sense. But when you're doing it for like a birthday party, you're like, well, they just went through their friends list and invited me, whatever. But somebody
Yeah.
goes out of their way to send you something in paper mail, they get shows. Because what else do you get in paper mail nowadays other than bills, junk magazines, like all that stuff, man? So
Couple of our new regulars coming in
new
here
regulars.
now. Yeah.
But yeah, we can probably wrap this up, Rob.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So
So yeah, get in here and try this. This will probably be going on the bar here shortly.
Yeah, the
So
Heaven
if you
Hill
want to try
20.
that one, this one's always on the bar.
and by this one, he means the dovetail.
Dovetail. Yeah, I guess I should probably say that out loud
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Dovetail is always available. The Heaven Hill 20 will be up here. It's not going to last.
Also,
if it does, it's only because of the price point.
Shout out to you guys. I was looking at analytics and stats this week for all of our stuff. Thank you so much for your support of this show. It
Yeah.
continues to grow at a steady pace. We're going to have, I'm thinking, 25,000 downloads by the end of this year.
That's awesome.
So
That's incredible.
It's crazy. Podcasts will get into their. Heck, we're probably. I think we might be at our 1 year mark with this.
We're got to be getting close.
I don't remember if we started in June or July last year.
Actually, the podcast didn't start till
Yeah,
October, November.
Yeah. But the
But YouTube was probably summer. Well, I guess we're probably close to a year. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have to do something special once I figure out that date. And
Figure out that date,
We'll
see if
either
we've
be
already blown
early
past
or
it.
late.
Or late. We'll figure it out.
Don't look at the first episode. It was recorded on Rob's iPhone, and we smoked the Aladino Corojo Reserva and drank the Jack Daniel's single barrel,
Which is still a great pairing.
Maybe we should revisit
We should
that.
redo that one
Yeah.
because that one was pretty brutal.
That's a pairing worth having a good copy of
it really is.
because it's wonderful. But
We'll do that soon. So
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. You can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Pastor.
you can find me at Final Third Cigar.
Cheers to you. Be sure to leave us a like on YouTube, a review on the podcast platform you're listening on. All of those things do help us, and they do directly help Final Third.
They really
as
do.
a shop.
I mean, I'm still blown away by how many people have found our shop by listening to the podcast. I mean, that's only because it's out there and people find it. And, cheers to you guys for coming out and hanging out with
it's
us.
a free way to support the shop. And
Absolutely.
It helps more than you'll ever know.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will check you out next week.
We're going to check them out.
Check them out, baby.
Cheers.
Cheers.